create your healthiest self and eliminate the pain that holds your happiness and life hostage. Dr. Tatta even mentions my favorite form of movement, yoga, that research shows can decrease back pain, neck pain, and even autoimmune disease. Ultimately, Heal Your Pain Now provides a well-researched, powerful guide to rewire your brain and alleviate pain immediately. Whether you only recently began suffering or struggled miserably with pain for years, consider this book your go-to source to find relief and create the vibrant, healthy life you were meant to live. Sarah Gottfried, MD, Berkeley, California, author of the New York Times best-selling books The Hormone Cure and The Hormone Reset Diet. Introduction. Mark was a 45-year-old professional who suffered with persistent pain in his neck and arm from an accident on his motorcycle more than 10 years ago. He had broken a few bones and had been badly bruised, but his bumps and breaks were well healed by now. Yet, Mark was still in pain. We met at a party held by a mutual friend at a swanky Park Avenue apartment. The views of the city were breathtaking, the food and wine wonderful. The attendees ranged from a mix of New York's ultra-successful professionals to the starving artist and all those in between. But the conversations at this party, as at many I had attended before, had a theme. For me, parties often turn into occasions for collecting others' stories of pain. We each have our own unique story of pain. Once people hear I am a doctor of physical therapy and help free people from a life of pain, 3 questions typically follow. First, how do I get rid of this persistent pain? It might be joint pain, an old injury, or a disease. It is often disrupting to their work, personal life, and enjoyment. Second, how do I get in shape or lose weight? This is not surprising since so many of us struggle with extra weight, and the obesity epidemic not only disables our body but also cripples the health of our economy and medical system. Third, there is always someone who throws down the gauntlet in frustration or desperation and says, "But I have tried everything and nothing has worked. Why do I still have this pain?" Mark was no different. Mark was your average guy with a full-time job, family, and friends. He loved his job as a mediator and was passionate about teaching individuals and corporations the skills necessary to solve problems in a peaceful, amicable way. Mediators are trained and experienced in dispute resolution. I asked Mark how he successfully brought people to a peaceful conclusion around difficult issues, such as a divorce or a heated workplace dispute involving employees and employers. He simply shrugged his shoulders and said there was only one way to solve the dispute: provide both parties with as much information as possible, and then guide and facilitate them through the process until they reach a resolution. Mediation revolves around your decisions, not the mediator's. The mediator provides various solutions to help you navigate the process as you select which path you want to take. But ultimately, you make the decisions. I then asked Mark what he currently did for his pain, and he said, "Well, my doctor gave me some pills to take. I don't like to take them too often because they don't make me feel very good, but I need them. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting addicted to them and stop taking them, but I eventually wind up going back. The doctors say surgery can't help me as the fracture's healed well. I try to stay active because I know it's good for me, but I just can't seem to work out the way I used to. It's like I need to start all over again from square one some weeks. And I notice I am putting on weight. I should start running. That will take the weight off, right?" Mark's wasn't the only story I encountered that night. There was someone with arthritis in her knee who kept overdoing it, a former Olympic gymnast wearing a back brace, a sales rep with crippling carpal tunnel syndrome, and someone recently diagnosed with lupus. By the way, no one at the party was over the age of 50. "So, how do you help people in pain?" Mark asked. "Well, I like to provide them with as much information as possible, and then guide them through the process until they feel happy with their outcome," I replied. Health and wellness have been constant themes in my life. When I was 3 years old, I started participating in gymnastics, and the healthy habits I learned at that young age were imprinted for a lifetime. Excelling in a sport that requires physical skill and mental determination taught me a lot, triggered my interest, and sparked my lifelong passion to help others.